The Persian Wars, a clash of titans. In one corner, the vast Persian Empire stretching from Egypt to India, in the other, the independent city-states of Greece. It was a conflict that would shape the destiny of the ancient world. The Persians, led by their mighty kings, were used to victory. They expected the Greeks, divided by geography and politics, to crumble before them. But the Greeks, fiercely independent and proud of their way of life, were determined to resist. The first Persian invasion under Darius I ended in humiliation at Marathon. The Greeks, heavily outnumbered, fought with incredible courage and discipline and routed the invaders. The defeat at Marathon was a blow to Persian pride, and Darius vowed revenge. However, death claimed him before he could launch another attack. His son, Xerxes, would inherit his ambition and his thirst for vengeance. The stage was set for an even greater confrontation, a battle that would become legend, the Battle of Thermopylae. Xerxes, the new Persian king, was determined to avenge his father's defeat. He assembled an enormous army, said to number in the millions, though modern historians believe it to be smaller but still vastly larger than the Greek force. This massive force marched on Greece, intending to crush any resistance in its path. The Greeks, aware of the impending invasion, faced a difficult choice. Should they try to meet the Persians in open battle, risking a catastrophic defeat? Or should they adopt a defensive strategy, relying on natural barriers and hoping to wear down the invaders? The Spartans, renowned for their martial prowess, argued for a bold stand. They proposed to block the Persian advance at a narrow pass called Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. This pass, with steep cliffs on one side and the sea on the other, was a natural choke point. A small force could hold off a much larger army at Thermopylae, buying time for the other Greek city-states to mobilize. It was a risky plan, but it offered the best hope of stopping the Persians. The Spartans, led by their king Leonidas, would lead the defense of Thermopylae. Leonidas, king of Sparta, was a man born for war. Raised from childhood in the harsh Spartan system, he was a skilled warrior and a strict disciplinarian. He understood the Persian threat and was prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice to defend his homeland. Leonidas knew that the odds at Thermopylae were heavily against him. He was leading a small force of Spartans and other Greek allies against the might of the Persian Empire. But he was determined to fight with courage and honor, to show the Persians that Greece would not be easily conquered. He knew his small force could not hope to defeat the Persian army outright. Their goal was to hold the pass for as long as possible, inflicting heavy casualties and buying time for the other Greek city-states to gather their strength. His men, 300 of them Spartans, were the elite warriors of Greece. They trained their entire lives for battle. They were fearless in the face of the enemy and would obey their king's commands without question. Section 4. Xerxes, God King of Persia. Across the battlefield stood Xerxes, the Persian king. He was a ruler of immense wealth and power, accustomed to obedience from all he surveyed. He saw himself as a god king destined to rule the world. He could not understand why the Greeks dared to resist him. When his army arrived at Thermopylae and encountered the Spartans, he was confident in a swift victory. He sent messengers to Leonidas demanding the Greeks lay down their arms and submit to Persian rule. He promised them mercy and a place in his empire if they surrendered. Leonidas, in a legendary act of defiance, replied, "Molon Laibet, come and get them." Infuriated by the Spartan king's insolence, Xerxes ordered his troops to attack. He expected his soldiers to make short work of the vastly outnumbered Greeks. He would soon learn that the Spartans were not like the other armies he had faced. The battle for Thermopylae, a clash of civilizations and ideologies, was about to begin. Section 5. Clash of Civilizations. The Persian army surged forward, confident in their numbers. They expected the Greeks to break and flee, but the Spartans, arranged in a tight formation called a phalanx, held their ground. The phalanx, a wall of overlapping shields and spears, was a formidable defensive formation. The Persians, attacking in waves, found themselves unable to break through the Spartan lines. The narrow terrain of the pass neutralized their numerical advantage, funneling them into a killing zone. For 2 days the Greeks held the pass against overwhelming odds. The Spartans, fighting with discipline and ferocity, inflicted heavy casualties on the Persians. Xerxes, watching from a nearby hill, was astonished by the Greeks' resistance. He had never seen such courage and determination on the battlefield. He began to realize that conquering Greece would be a far more difficult task than he had anticipated. The Greeks were fighting for their freedom and their way of life, and they were determined to resist to the death. Section 6. Sacrifice and its aftermath. However, the Spartans' courageous stand could not last forever. A local shepherd revealed to Xerxes a secret path through the mountains, bypassing the hot gates. The Persians used this path to outflank the Greeks, trapping Leonidas and his men. Faced with certain defeat, Leonidas dismissed most of his allies, ordering them to live to fight another day. He remained behind with his 300 Spartans, along with some Thespian and Theban soldiers, to make a final stand. They knew there was no hope of victory, only a chance to sell their lives dearly and inspire others to resist. They fought with incredible bravery, repelling wave after wave of Persian attacks. But eventually they were overwhelmed and slain. Even in defeat, Leonidas and his Spartans achieved a moral victory. Their sacrifice at Thermopylae became a symbol of courage, determination, and the fight for freedom. Their stand bought precious time for the other Greek city-states to prepare for the Persian invasion. Section 7. Echoes of Thermopylae. News of the Spartan sacrifice spread throughout Greece, igniting a firestorm of patriotism and defiance. It was a rallying cry, a testament to the spirit of the Greeks. The Battle of Thermopylae, though a defeat, proved to be a turning point in the Persian wars. It showed the Greeks that the Persians were not invincible and that they could be defeated. Inspired by the example of Leonidas and his 300, the Greek city-states united to face the Persian threat. They would go on to win decisive victories at Salamis and Plataea, ultimately repelling the Persian invasion and preserving their independence. The Battle of Thermopylae has resonated through the ages, becoming a timeless tale of courage, sacrifice, and the struggle against tyranny. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a small group of determined individuals can make a difference.